Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name's Brittnee. Hopefully you guys aren't quite sick of hot chocolate bomb videos yet. Well, wait, you must not be because you clicked on this video. Well, that's good for me because I had a fun idea. Wouldn't it be fun for like a Christmas party or something, rather than make hot cocoa bombs for each guest and like set them at their table setting, to instead make big hot cocoa bombs and put them as centerpieces on the table? And when it's time to serve the hot chocolate, you just plop the big hot cocoa bomb into a pitcher and pour everyone a mug. If you like this idea, click the thumbs up down below and keep watching because I'm going to teach you how to make a cute giant snowman hot chocolate bomb. And to get started, you will need to grab the following supplies. Some silicone sphere molds in 3 different sizes, silicone or plastic cups for warming up your chocolate, food safe gloves, hot cocoa mix and some marshmallows, parchment paper piping bags. Click the card above to see how I make these, white candy melts, some dark chocolate, and whatever other colors you'd like to decorate with, and a sheet tray and some cookie cutters to assist you in assembling the giant snowman. And check out the description box down below where I have linked all of these supplies for you. So the first step is to melt some white candy melts. I like to use these silicone cups because they protect the chocolate from getting too hot and burn. Don't use glass because glass retains heat. So I'm just going to heat it up for 30 seconds at a time, stirring in between until it's smooth. So the next step is to fill the molds. So let me show you what molds you need. I have 2 links down in the description. One is for this mold, which is like the regular size people use for hot cocoa bombs. And then I found this on Amazon as well that came with 3 sizes. But this set doesn't include this one. So I'm actually going to set aside the tiniest one, and I'm going to use this one, the regular hot cocoa bomb, and then the largest one from this set. So to make the shells, I'm just doing them all white for the snowman. I'm going to get on my glove. If you've watched my hot cocoa bomb videos, you know this is how I like to fill the cavities. Just pour the chocolate right in and use my finger to coat all around the half sphere mold. I try to get a pretty even coat, but it also doesn't have to be perfect. I'll do 2 coats, and then I wipe the excess around the top edge because the top edge tends to get pretty thin. While the first coat sets up on the biggest sphere, I'll move to the middle size. Okay, now the smallest size for the snowman's head. Let's see. I'm going to just do these ones in the middle. Okay, now the first coats are set up. I'm going to do a second coat really quick on all the molds. And just so you know, I had to melt a whole new bag of candy melts because one bag isn't enough for all of these shells. Now these big ones, the bigger the sphere is, the more fragile it is if it's thin. So I'm just going to make sure it has a really nice thick second coat to prevent breaking. Now once all your molds have a second coat, just put them all in the fridge for about 10 minutes. So after 10 minutes in the fridge, they should definitely be ready. You're just going to simply push up and grab the sphere out. They should come out really easy like this. And I just set them aside on a sheet tray because next I'm going to glue them together and fill them with hot cocoa. Cute. Okay, so I've got my warm sheet tray here, and I'm going to start with the smallest sphere. And you don't have to fill this one with hot cocoa, but I want to just because, I mean, like, it's just so cute and tiny. So I'm going to warm up the first sphere, not too much. I don't want to melt too much away. It's kind of tricky because it's so small. It might not even need the cookie cutter. This is the smallest size I have. Look at this little spoon. I mean, come on, how can you resist it? Okay, maybe 3 marshmallows? Okay. Okay, and then I'm just going to set it together, give it a little press down. I forgot my second glove. Okay, while it's still a little warm, I'm just going to clean up the edge of the seal by gently wiping it with my glove. And I'll set this little sphere aside and do the rest. Yeah, so I'm just melting the first side to get it warm. Tiniest little scoop of hot cocoa, 2 or 3 marshmallows, and then melt the second side so that they can stick together, and gently place it on top. Give a little press down to seal it. And then wipe the edge. All right. Okay, now I'll fill the middle one, the middle size. So I have a cookie cutter for the right size for this, and for this one you'll want it. It makes things easier to just set the first shell there. And I've got to switch out my spoon to the big one. Okay, and my pan is rewarming. It's good to toss it in the oven in between so that it's really warm. If it isn't, the chocolate won't get melty enough and they won't create a really strong seal. So it's important to keep your pan really warm. So this is fresh out of the oven, and I'm going to do the same exact thing. Warm up the first side just until there's no gaps between the sphere and the pan. Do a nice hefty scoop of hot cocoa and a little handful of marshmallows. You're going to warm your second side. Gently place it on top. Make sure it's in line. Give it a little gentle press down. Then carefully clean off the seal. And that's it. Okay, now it's time for the really big one. Grab my 2 spheres. Now, if you're making this to serve in a pitcher, like I mentioned at the beginning of the video, you really want to put a lot of hot cocoa, you know, so that it's chocolatey enough. So I'm going to pack this full. Now, just need to grab my pan. You gotta fill this up. Okay, so I'm just doing this the same exact way as the other ones. Make sure it's on there really good. Gently press it. And now clean the seal. Okay, there's one snowman base. Remember, when you place this half sphere on the pan, you want to leave it until there's no gaps between the sphere and the pan. That'll make sure there's no holes along the edge when you're gluing them together, because they're both flush and straight. Okay, this might seem a little crazy, but I do not like the look of the snowmen just stacked like this. Like where they meet is too round. So what I've got going on here is 2 canisters with hot pads on top. I'm going to get my hot sheet tray out of the oven and set it here so that I can tilt the base and melt it from below, because if I set it on top, all the hot cocoa will spill out. So I will demonstrate what I'm thinking here. I'm going to line up all my pieces, ready to stack. And I'm actually going to start with the middle one and put the little one on top. That one doesn't bug me as bad because I'm going to actually pipe a chocolate scarf, but I am going to melt it down just a little bit, enough to glue these 2 together. All right, so I've got my warm sheet tray here, and I'm just going to melt it right on the seam. Just enough to like break through so I can see in. That's like the angle I think I want. And then gently press this down. And that's our top half. Now, I'll do the same with this bottom base. Just have to gently press it till it melts. And with this one, I want it, the hole a little bigger so I can almost press it down. I'm gonna do just a little bit more. That's more like it. So my hole's about that big. I'm just going to press it till it feels secure. There we go. And I'll pipe some white chocolate to hide that, make it kind of look like the spheres are melting together like snow. So there's our first snowman. And I'm just going, if it feels dry, you can just gently lay it down. I'm going to lay mine there, and I'll do the second one. All right, I'm actually gonna flip my tray around so I can have some spots where there's no chocolate. Well, there's so much hot cocoa in there, he can actually stand up on his own. But just for safety, I'm going to lay him down. All right, so next I've got some more melted candy melts, and I'm going to create a base for the snowman. I want them to be able to stand up on their own, you know, if I decide to put it on a table or something. So you want the base to be big enough. It's going to kind of look like the snowman has melted. So it's kind of cute, but also practical. Pile a little extra in the middle. And then I'll just pick up the snowman. You can let the chocolate set just a little bit while you wait, because it'll make it stronger and you won't have to stand here as long. I'm just going to squish the snowman in the middle and then patiently stand here while it sets up just enough for me to put it in the fridge. There's one thing I forgot to do. You want to shake all the hot cocoa down to the bottom so that that's where the weight is. That will help you. My melted snow kind of evened itself out. It's pretty round, but that's okay. I'll keep watching him, but he's not tipping or anything. It's pretty secure, so keep one eye on him and I'll start building the base for the second one. Okay, so since I forgot last time, won't forget this time, to just hold the snowman carefully, shake it up and down, and it will jostle all the hot cocoa to the bottoms of the spheres, and that'll help it stand up. So just squish it right down into the middle. Patiently hold it there long enough to set up a bit. Try to move your fingers around so that you're not getting any of the chocolate too warm and melting. I have really hot hands, so I'm worried about melting the snowman. When they're both standing pretty solid, I'm going to put this whole sheet tray very carefully into the fridge to make sure the bases are completely set up before I decorate them. They're pretty solid. I'm going to very carefully lift them into the fridge. First, I need to open the fridge. Okay, my snowman made it safely in and out of the fridge. This one almost tipped over, but here they are. They've been in the fridge for about 15 minutes, but they're all set up. I'm going to carefully move the first one to a piece of parchment paper just to make it easy, and I'll show you how I decorate them now. So the first thing I'm going to do is seal in the top just to make it a little easier to reach the inside when I add the scarf, to make it lay a little smoother. So this I'm just doing straight. And then for the bottom, I want it to look like when we put the middle on, it melted it down a little bit and like pressed it down like into the bottom, if that makes sense. So I'm just piping it really quick, but kind of doing little drips as I go. Next, I'm just going to pipe on a little carrot nose with some orange candy melts. And if anyone was wondering, I'm only decorating with candy melts. So everything I pipe in a piping bag is just melted candy melts in different colors. Now with some dark chocolate, I'm going to pipe on some eyes and a little smile. Then I'm also going to pipe the headband part for the earmuffs. And I want the earmuff to start just under the eye. So I'm going to put a little marker on both sides so it's even. And then I'll just pipe the little headband part across. And it's pretty easy to get it straight because I just follow the line of the seal. Next, I'm going to pipe my snowman's earmuffs. And you can use whatever colors you want for all the decorations. To do the earmuffs, I start with 2 little circles, and then I just pipe little dots and pull away on the outside to create little fuzzies, like make the earmuffs look like they're fuzzy. And then I just add texture by doing the same thing, starting with a dot and then pulling away and slowly taking off my pressure as I go. Creates a little fuzzy little earmuff. Now I've put the earmuffs in the fridge, and while I wait for them to set up, I'm going to pipe on some buttons. Let's see, I'm actually going to start in the center. Once the earmuffs are set, I'm going to put a generous dot of red here, glue them on. Oh man, I love them. Okay, and the other side the same exact way. Oh, he looks so warm and cozy. Okay, now time for the scarf. Okay, so I'll start by piping the base color, which I'm going to do like a turquoise. Now I'll just carefully add on some stripes to my scarf. And also some red stripes. All right, here are our finished giant snowman hot cocoa bomb friends. Now, a lot of you have commented that you hate to see me drop the hot cocoa bomb into the hot milk after all the hard work, but it's all part of the fun and the time has come. Well, there you go, my last hot chocolate bomb video of the season. I hope that you enjoyed it, and if you did, please let me know by giving it a like. Helps me out a lot. If you haven't subscribed to my channel yet, today's the day. And if you'd like to see more hot cocoa bomb things, just click on one of these thumbnails. Thanks so much for watching today, and I'll see you soon. Bye.